Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is that far hive on the right. I'm going to be taking each of the 4 boxes apart, and the lower 2 where the brood are kept, put powdered sugar in them, not for the bees to eat, but to hopefully cover them with powdered sugar. And it makes them slippery, and it's a natural way to prevent varroa mites. Varroa mites are little red mites that live on the bodies of your bees. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing this myself, so I don't know how it'll work through the veil and everything, but we'll see. So first thing I'm going to do is smoke the hive. Smoke kind of calms the bees, gets them so they're a little calmer. I'm going to go right in front of the entryway. Oh, I forgot I'm doing this. I don't know. I can see it. I don't know if the camera can. And then up here, you'll see we have this hole for ventilation right there that Chuck drilled. But our bees use it kind of like another entryway. So I'm going to put some smoke in there. Come around here. We have another ventilation hole right there. I'm going to put some smoke in there. And then way at the bottom of the hive has a screened bottom board. So the theory behind having a screened bottom board rather than a wooden one, because you can get wooden ones, is that if you do get these mites to fall off, they'll fall right through the screen to the ground below. Okay, I'm going to remove these rocks I have on the top of the hive. That's just for wind. And actually I should be a little bit more careful about that. I want to plan out the hive boxes that I take off, where I'm going to put them. So I usually put them behind me and kind of lean them on these rocks so that they're not flat on the ground. And I guess I'll steal a rock off this one. 1, 2, 3. That'll be enough. Yeah. See that little pebble, little rock on the corner? That's added ventilation also. It keeps the cover just a little bit off. This time of year, it gets really hot in there, and we don't want the bees too hot. Again, I'm going to grab the smoker and kind of smoke these guys a little bit. Now you got to be gentle with the bees, and you got to do this quickly because you don't want to piss them off, because you don't want angry bees flying around you. Get stung. This cover, this is a hive tool I'm using, and inside of the cover is full of bees. And there's the small boxes on top are called supers, honey supers. Theoretically, that's where the bees store their honey, above them. Just glancing in here without taking the frames out right now, you can see some of these are capped already, which means that that's good. We can steal them for honey for us. And some of it, that frame, doesn't even have nectar in it yet. So I'm going to probably check this hive, in another week. But it certainly looks like it's full of bees, and it looks like it'll be rather heavy for me to lift off. You can probably, it probably holds, I don't know, 30 to 40 pounds of honey, believe it or not. So I'm going to take that hive tool I dropped, and again do the same thing I just did. And the reason I'm not bothering putting powdered sugar in here is, one, is it's open honey, the stuff that isn't sealed, so I don't want powdered sugar going in that, right? And also I know there's no brood in here, and the varroa mites lay their eggs inside the brood. So I'm going to put the camera. Okay, what you're seeing here is a queen excluder. This piece of plastic, and that queen is too big to fit through it, and it supposedly keeps the bees away from laying eggs where you want the honey. So I'm going to, again, try and get these guys. Oh, getting that big one right there. I don't know if you can see. It's hard for me to see through this camera because I have the veil on too. There's one on the edge. Those are drones. Those are the male ones. If you see ones that look bigger. They hang out during the summer if they need if we lose our queen and they make a new queen or whatever, those are the guys that breed with the queen. They only breed once. And then in the fall, the hive kicks them out and they die because they don't need them anymore. They're not going to be breeding in the winter, and they need all the resources they can get. Again, I'm going to put this down. So let's see, I've got one here, one hand here, lift it. Good. Okay, look what we've got. Let me show you. So I just broke apart that hive, and you can see where I tore some comb they had built, and it's full of honey. Yum, 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 yum. Alright, so I'm going to take this big heavy hive box off, and then I'm going to powder sugar the one below it, and then I'm going to powder sugar this one, and then put the whole hive back together and get the heck out of here. And this powdered sugaring is generally, you're supposed to do it every 7 to 10 days. You know, I only have 3 hives, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you had 10, 15 hives, you'd probably be using chemicals. And they actually make a chemical now, the thyme oil. So I guess it's not really a chemical. That's pretty good stuff. And so we may end up switching to that. But ideally, the best thing to do is they've started breeding bees back to their natural size, which is smaller. These bees were bred to this size 100 and some years ago. And the smaller bees, the varroas, they're too small for the varroas to lay their eggs on. So that's ideal. And I think we'll be looking into that in the future, so we don't have to screw around with this. The people in my club who have been keeping bees for decades never had to worry about this prior to the 1980s. In the 1980s, varroa first made it in this country. Okay, now I got this side. I really can't put my hand there. It's covered in bees. So you guys gotta move. Sorry, I'm pissing you off, but I don't want to get stung. Alright, that looks good. Oops. I sewed in it, honey, and a couple of these are barren on the end. The idea is by fall we want this full of honey. As it gets cooler, I don't need to put this down. As it gets cooler out, the queen won't lay as much. You know, so then they'll start, hopefully, use this area for honey storage. They should have 70 pounds of honey to make it through the winter. And the way you tell that is you guesstimate by how heavy the box is when you lift the box. So I'm going to take some of this comb off. What I do with this comb is I melt it down with olive oil, and I make, I'll just put it there for now, hand cream, balm, you know, hand cream. That's the easiest thing to do. I like it. My friends like it. My family likes it. Some people make soap. Some people make candles. That's a lot of work. And I just don't have the time. So I'm happy just melting it down.